It's not Dr. Pepper tonight. It's Romania Black, and we are not quite ready for Steins Gate Zero. Almost, but not quite ready for it, as I had finished the movie, and I'm actually recording this about the time it's supposed to be on Patreon, but I have been so busy outside of the channel these last couple of weeks, I had not had time to sit down and watch the movie in the English dub, and it was bugging me, and today I got off work, and I had a little bit of time, and I was like, I'm gonna watch the English dub of the Steins Gate movie and take notes before starting. Apparently this special episode, the moderators were like, yeah, there's a special episode that we think, after discussing it with the council, you need to see before starting Steins Gate Zero. And I was like, okay, so it's like another OVA, I guess, but I'm pretty excited. I have no clue what it's about. They've sworn me to secrecy. They've sent me a file that doesn't have the name of it on it, and so it just says special episode. I'm like, okay, so we'll see what that's about here in a second, but in any case, as I'm choking, I do want to talk about, before the English dub, Big Chris 07 said with the OVA, they're like, hopefully when you get back to checking the alternate lyrics of the OP, you can check out the opening for the visual novel called Skyclad Observer. It's the epic song that plays at the end of the episode 23. I love the lyrics. It goes well with the story. So yeah, I am going to get back to it. Don't you worry. I'm keeping notes. I just can't view it right now. So, but I appreciate you, Big Chris, for telling me that with the OVA. I appreciate that a lot. So thank you. Also, let's talk about the dub. Let's talk about the dub with the movie. I liked the dub a lot. I've really grown attached to J. Michael Tatum as Okabe. I know I'm listening to Miyano Mamoru for the reaction, but going back and rewatching it's such a joy because J. Michael Tatum does such an amazing job. They all do a great job on the English dub for this series. It's wonderful. So Okabe describes the world line he's in. It's been a year since I've reached Steins Gate. So I like he just calls this world line Steins Gate. That's just what it's called. I was hoisted free of the entanglements of conflicted world lines. Oh, how naive you were, Okabe. How naive. I do like that in the English dub, Kurisu is not body shaming Daru nearly as much as the Japanese sub was. That was a nice touch. And the banter between Okabe and Kurisu in the English dub for the movie is just, it's so funny. There were so many one-liners, I could not keep track of them, that I wanted to write down. And I'm sorry, but J. Michael Tatum, he's so damn good. His voice and how soft it is and how like considerate it is whenever he's dealing with the drunk Kurisu, and how Kurisu is really sad that he just left after the OVA in America. And how Okabe sounds really hurt and empathetic towards her. I mean, it was such a good scene, although, dear God, poor Okabe. J. Michael Tatum makes him sound so uncomfortable when she's trying to like have advances on him in the stairway. And then she's like, does Steins Gate determine all your romantic entanglements? Well, yes. So, but yeah, J. Michael Tatum, he's so good when he is just soft and reflective as Ocarine and realizing that they don't remember the world lines like he does. Like the way J. Michael Tatum can do a soft, sincere voice, it's swoon worthy, but it's just so damn good. I love it. Now in the dub, there is a garbled like voice manipulator that's used when the person is talking to Kurisu out of the shower. But for some reason, there's a moment where you clearly hear Amane's voice actress say the word remember. So I'm like, it felt like since there wasn't a garbling voice like manipulator in the Japanese sub, they included that word to give a tie-in to letting you know it's Amane, but that's the only reason that I could think out of it. I do think the English dub does a great job explaining deja vu. That concept is explained very well. One thing is how Kurisu figured out Amane's name. I realized this after rewatching in the English dub. I was like, the one kind of plot hole element out of the whole shebang that I was like, wait a minute, is that Kurisu figures out, like she's directly told, hi, I'm Amane Suzuha, but Kurisu knows from Mayuri and Ruka that Daru's girlfriend is Amane Yuki. So I'm like, I'm glad she apparently didn't reveal anything to Daru, but that's also like possibly really skirting the line of danger of Amane not getting born because you revealed something you shouldn't have. I don't know. That was the only plot hole-ish element from rewatching that I was like, I don't know, but I'm sure it's fine. And then The way that Amane explains reading Steyer on high alert so this world line won't acclimate to him, and that the our world line is next door to Steins Gate, where he falls through the cracks of the world line. They just do a really good job of explaining it in the English dub, where it does make a little bit more sense than trying to make do with the translations. So I do appreciate that. J. Michael Tatum, when he has the outburst about Kurisu using the time limit machine, y'all know what I'm going to say. Y'all know what I'm going to say. So damn good, because it absolutely was. It was palpable, his panic and his fear and his anger and his horror at her using it. It was a palpable. I loved it so much. And the way that he describes not wanting Kurisu to end up like him. He's like, if you save someone, you'll lose someone else. You'll hate yourself. It changes you as a person. Even if I could be saved, what you'd have to go through would not be worth it. The way that they did the English script for this scene, and the way that they translated the lines, it just really hits how much Ocarine cares about Kurisu and does not want her to become like him, right? And Kurisu's voice actress, she was amazing. She did so good in this. I love that they say Mayuri is the most grounded of them all, because she is. And that the reading Steiner is something that we all have, and that it transcends time, and it's how we all can handle each other upon the world lines. I love it. Now, J. Michael Tatum, I wondered if he was going to play the younger version of himself, because Miyano Mamoru plays the younger version of himself. J. Michael Tatum does. He sounds like, not prepubescent, he sounds pubescent. He like softens his voice just a little bit and like tries to make it like a kid voice. But it felt like I was listening to a puppy that had been stuck in the rain for hours is what it felt like. So, but it was good. It was fine. And then I loved the double meaning where when Kurisu goes to the our world line and is standing behind him and she's like, I'm a permanent member of your psyche. She's a lab member. She's a permanent lab member in his brain. She's living free up there forever. I love it. And then her telling him, you're not alone. Whatever world line you're on, I'll follow. Someone has to keep your delusions under control. Love it. Love it. Absolutely love it. It was great. I will say I could not find the movie shorts that somebody was talking about. I could not find them. I didn't want to look online. I didn't want to look at the dub. I took like one search on YouTube and then I immediately was like, no, you're going to get spoiled, girl. Don't do it. So if somebody in the Discord, somebody on Patreon's in the Discord has the movie shorts and wants me to see them like off screen or something, I'm totally fine with that. But in any case, points if you can guess what I'm drinking. This episode, it's not a Dr. Pepper, but points if you can guess what it is. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I'll probably just get like different sodas now from now on. Steins Gate Zero is just gonna be different sodas. It's like guess the soda every episode. Which one is it? Who knows? So we'll see. But yeah, I really liked the movie and I liked the dub of the movie a lot. I didn't know how I would feel about it, but the cast is just so good. They do amazing. So, I mean, how can you not be happy with it? But I've talked for almost 10 minutes. So thank you all so much for your support and your kindness. Thank you for your patience. I don't know what this special episode, the file name says Steins Gate, parentheses, special episode, parentheses. I don't know what this is. But we're just going to have to find out, right? But anyway, I am excited. I hope you all are as well. So we're not going to waste any more time. We are going to start Steins Gate special episode. And we're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1. And I'll see you all on the other side. This was all just a damn tease. Okay, what? All right, so theory times. Theory times, okay. Oh, we need to talk about this. I don't know how long this discussion will be. It probably will not be a long discussion because most of this episode leading up to Mayuri not slapping sense into him is going to be about the same, but we might as well go through with it, right? And just see what we get, because I have some questions. Look, you all know the drill. You know the drill by this point. I'm going to be positing ideas and theories, and you all will sit there slurping your tea like, eating your popcorn and sitting on your hands and being like, Romania, you have no clue what's in store for you. And the answer is no, I don't. But because we cut to at the end of the episode, we cut to November 28th, like almost December, which had been like nearly 3 months later. So, okay. All right. Okay. So we need to go through this. This is clearly all setting up Steins Gate Zero. We all know that. Setting up Steins Gate Zero, which we're going to tackle here in 3, 2, 1. But it's setting up Steins Gate Zero, but I am very curious about the premise. Very curious about the premise. So we start this basically at the start of episode 23. For the most part, this entire episode up until the crux is the same as episode 23. So we might as well just dive right into it. I do want to talk about, there was a couple little things that stood out that was not present as before. One of them being, let's get past the OP. One of them is that on the billboard out by the time machine, there is a sign that says duty-free members. And I was like, that's funny because it's talking about lab members. And then later on when Mayuri talks about how all of this shouldn't be just shouldered on on his own shoulders, it should be shared between them. It's like, oh, well, then now the members have duties. Now they have to help Ocarine in bearing this burden. So I was like, interesting. I don't remember that sign before. So curiouser and curiouser. But yeah. So he agrees to go help her. Yeah, see right there. It says duty-free members. And there's 3 of our members of the lab right there in front of us, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, so he agrees to go back. Most of this is the same until he gets to where Kurisu is in the little storage room. I feel like there was a moment here. I would have to go back and because I'm recording this right after watching this episode. I feel like I would have to go back and rewatch episode 23. I don't think he said trying. I think he just said I'm. The replay value of this series is amazing because you keep wanting to go back and being like, well, wait a minute, no, because I think he just said last time and then he didn't say trying. He didn't say that last time. So that's everything, the butterfly effect, everything is changing. So I was like, okay, that felt different. I don't know if that's the same or not. I don't think it is. I don't think he says trying there. I know when he goes back in episode 24, he says, I'm going to save you. So that part is different. And she's like, what? So anyway, I wondered what was going to be different. I was like, how is this going to change? And I was trying to think of the possibilities of what would go down. So I was like, okay, well, things that could happen. I wondered, okay, this is a special episode. It's bridging between the OVA and the movie. And well, technically it's bridging between episode 23 before we even end the series to 0. So clearly Steins Gate 0 is going to be, in my mind, I'm curious. Because I'm like, is Steins Gate 0 going to be like, basically, if he decided not to go back and save Kurisu, well, F Kurisu's drag, am I right? Just forget her. But we're going to talk about that because I don't think it's quite it. I'm curious. Or if it's the R world, we're going to talk about it. But up until this point, because we are at this point 10 minutes into the episode, that's only like 23 minutes long. So I'm like, okay, we're halfway through the episode. And nothing has essentially changed, except I think that one line of dialogue to Kurisu when he sees her in the hallway. So, and I'm sorry that I had to bend down during the reaction. I didn't want my dog barking during the reaction. I need to put something in place where this does not get so deep within the shelf. But anyway, at this point, I thought, okay, so some options are, is he going to accidentally stab the dad and change time? And that's going to lead to Steins Gate 0. Or is he going to accidentally get stabbed himself and then knock Kurisu out and the dad runs off, whatever. I was like, how is the timeline going to change? But it doesn't. It doesn't. The actions that happened in episode 23 still happen. So I was like, okay. And that leads to everything going down. I don't want to rewatch that. Although I will say, watching him like sob. Miyano Mamoru is just really good at dramatic acting. So is J. Michael Tatum. But Miyano Mamoru, he knows how to really sell some drama. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I forgot how good his voice acting was in this. So yeah, he ends up coming back. I like that Miuri's like, oh my gosh, he's back, yay! And it's like, no, not yay. This is not the scene you'd want to jump in on. I also like that Amane's like, it's okay, everything's fine. He just murdered his love. It's totally normal. This happens all the time. But then again, she is living through World War III, so her sensitivities are a little different than Okarine's at the time. But yeah, so let's all keep in mind he's 19 at this point. Let's all keep in mind he's 19, and he just discovered that he's the reason that she dies in the original timeline. He set up this loop that he's going to have to inadvertently go back and stop. And man, this makes me appreciate episode 24 a little bit more, because I'm like, oh, he really, I mean, I am wondering, my mind is like all over the place. I feel like I have my reading Steiner activating because I already know what happens in the movie and the OVA. So it's like, okay, now we're going back. I feel like what Steins Gate Zero is essentially is setting up Ocarine getting to the point where he's able to go back and tell his former self, no, you need to go back and do it. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more here in a hot second, if my dog will go lay down. But this, I don't remember him being quite as, like, adamant about the fact that he killed Kurisu. I don't recall him being quite that way. Again, now I need to go back and rewatch episode 23. But Amane just being like, suck it up, Buttercup, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and go back and change the past again. We'll just try it all over again. I can understand why Ocarine had the reaction that he did, because I would be mad too if I just killed the person I loved with my own bare hands and watched her bleed out into my arms, and this girl from the future is like, well, just chin up, sir, and try it all over again. I can understand why he'd be mad. I could see why this would not fly, right? We've got enough fuel to go back one more time. Okay, so I don't recall that line of dialogue in episode 23 either, where she said we have enough fuel to go back one more time. And then he's like, shut up. Nothing will change. And he's like, the attractor field convergence will kill her all over again. And he's like, all of it. Now, this part's interesting, because he's like, it's all my fault. I don't recall him being this blaming in this timeline. So this part of me, I'm thinking, we have episode 23. And at the end of episode 23, right? At the end of the episode, he gets the video. Mayuri basically... at the end of the episode, Mayuri smacks him and knocks some sense back into him. And then it's like, the Ocarine that I knew wouldn't give up on a friend. So why are you giving up now? And then at that point, Amane says, okay, well, because you went back and failed, you've triggered this video being able to work. And it's Ocarine from the future telling his former self that he can go back and that it's going to be worth it and blah, blah, blah. And he gives him the clue that you're going to have to fake her being in the puddle of blood. And that's going to allow your past self to see it and impact the future. So my theory is that what we are witnessing now is the OG world line before that all went down. So the Ocarine that was in that video that this Ocarine from episode 23 of the original series saw, that Ocarine, I should have brought White Borkun out, but he's going to have to come out at the first episode 0. You all know that he's going to have to. We're letting him take the weekend off. We're letting him have a break. I should have brought him out, though, is that we have this Ocarine that we know from episode 23 over here. This Ocarine that we're seeing, he has to be the Ocarine that is going to go in the future and end up making the video to have him going back in the past. It's going to have to be it. It's going to have to be it. We know it's going to have to be it, right? Because Amane didn't bring out the video or say that his phone worked. So in this timeline, it seems like that video didn't exist yet. She's like, well, all these lives hang in the balance. But here's the thing. He told you when he went in the past that he didn't care about the 5.7 billion lives. He didn't care about them. He only cared about Makise. And he just told you that he knows when he goes back to save her, it's just going to create this loop and he doesn't want to kill her all over again. He says it's impossible. And she says, why? Oh, when she says it was just one failure. This is me telling the students in February that you just failed one test. You've got until May to get an A in the class. You're not going to be in a perpetual fail loop. It's okay. I'm glad that teaching English is not like Steins Gate, right? And he's like, just one. Now, I do totally sympathize with Ocarine at this point, because when she says it's just one failure, I'm like, oh, honey, he's been like watching Mayuri die over and over again. Why would he want to go relive that with Kurisu over and over again? Because, yeah, he's like, don't give me that shit. How many times do you think I failed? Yep. How many dozens of times do you think I failed? I know how this is going to go and how absurd the whole thing is. I'm well aware of the cruel ending that awaits. Yeah, in Okarine's mind, he's like, I know going back and trying to change the past led to this loop over and over again of Mayuri dying. And we sacrificed Kurisu to save Mayuri. And he's like, if I go back, not only will I have to rewatch Kurisu die over and over again, but I know that I can't save her because there's nothing to swap her out with. There's no karmic swap you can do, right? I mean, we get to the Steins Gate world line, but that's not happening here yet. So in his mind, he's like, there's no way I can do this and her live and no one else die. And he's like, I knew that this would happen, but he tried it anyway. And he's like, I'm tired. I'm so tired. And what's interesting is, okay, this is why I think that, because in episode 23, in the episode in the original series, she doesn't get, I think, as mad at this. Or if she does, she knew she had the video as a backup and was trying to tell him. And she's like, well, if that's how you want to be, then I'm going to have to slap some sense into you. Yeah, here in the original episode 23, now I'm going to have to go back and pull it up. Okay, I'm going back now to checking in the hallway. I wanted to check that one thing because he sees her. This is the original episode 23, and I want to get the subtitle track that's right here. Yeah, he says, I'm here too. Okay, so it is a little bit different. Now, maybe he said, I'm trying, but yeah, maybe it was a little bit different. But anyway, I want to go back. So in episode 23, he gets out of the time machine, and in the original episode, he does something different, I feel, right? Because this all seems the same. Yeah, and she says, you can't give up yet. Yeah, because she says, okay, you can't give up yet. We have enough fuel to go back one more time. Okay, so she did say it. Okay, so she did say they had one more trip, and he tells her to shut up then. Okay, and he says it would end the exact same way. Okay, but at this point, okay, this is where it changes. And she's like, Okarine's phone. And she says, you should have an email and you should be able to open it and just do it. Okay, so that's the message. This says turn on the news. And so they know already about the metal Upa and everything. And here's where after that, okay, it's so crazy that wasn't in this episode. Because she sits down and tells him, she's like, you have to save Makise and change the world line. And he's like, I can't do it. He's like, it will be just like what happened with Mayuri. However hard I tried, it was always the same end. And it ended with Kurisu dying. And she's like, you've only failed once. So then, yeah. And then he had the same conversation. So it's crazy to watch this. And the duty-free members is behind there. Oh, this is crazy to watch it be different, but be kind of the same. This is insane. I know how insane this time loop is. I know how cruel of a fate that it has in store. And then he says, I knew. Okay, so he says the same thing. I knew this would happen. But now what does he do here? He says, I'm tired. He says the same thing. And then Mayuri slaps him. Okay. And so she says, you aren't the type of person to give up halfway through. And Mayuri knows that. You never give up. I'm curious why, even when I couldn't say goodbye to my grandma, you never stopped coming to her grave every day. Yep, that's what helped me to say goodbye. And that's what helped me get better. Which is crazy because if you think about it, then you have Kurisu going and telling Okarine to go to the grave to get Mayuri to do that. So it's like everything being set up. So her saying you can't give up here, right? Because she says you can't give up. And that's when she gives him the phone with the video where he can watch it. And it's of himself from the future, supposedly. From like 15 years in the future. So are we going 15 years in the future in Steins Gate Zero? Are we going to get to see sexy, hot, older Okarine that Mayuri is clearly attracted to? Are we going to get to see this? Are we going to get to see this? So yeah. So he basically sets up that you have to like fool yourself. Delusion. Convince yourself. And that's what makes him like talk about El Congru and about creating, by throwing out the world order. And then we get to see him as Okarine and he's triumphant and he's going into episode 24. Okay. So with that being the case, then if we go back to the episode that we just watched. Okay. So then she tries to smack some sense into him and Mayuri stops her. It's just interesting. I can't decide if the whole thing is that I can't decide if the whole thing is since Amane was slapping him, that's why Kurisu stopped her. I'm trying to figure out, like, why she stopped him and why she didn't say, because she's like, I'm going to slap some sense into you. And then Mayuri stops her. I'm like, why did Mayuri stop? There's no way he can change the future like this. Okay, so that makes me wonder if Mayuri, because we've established that throughout this series, that all the different world lines, it is still you, and all the different world lines affect who you are and how you are. So the Mayuri that smacks him back in episode 23 of the original series is a Mayuri that is also at the same time the summoned pieces of the Mayuri from which we'll experience in Zero. And so everything that's going to happen in Steins Gate Zero is going to influence how Mayuri reacts in episode 23 of the OG series when she smacks him and says, you're not going to give up because that's not who you are. Here, when they literally say he can't do anything like this, I'm like, he's not ready to go back. He's not ready to have the knowledge of what he needs to do. This is going to be the Ocarine that's going to age up and go, because we're already in, like, we haven't even started Steins Gate Zero and we're already in November, 3 months later. So, but I want to talk about that. I want to talk about that as well. So I'm like, are we going to experience Ocarine aging up and growing old enough to figure out what he needs to do in the past, and then getting it to where Amane Suzuha is going to go back and convince him to go back in the time machine and correct everything? Is that what Steins Gate Zero is going to be? Because that would be honestly pretty interesting. I'm curious, but yeah. She tells him not to, and they're like, why are you making Ocarine shoulder? I did like this part. I did like her saying, why are you making him shoulder the future by himself? I did like that, because I'm like, yeah, why? I mean, Kurisu was not only part of Ocarine's life, she was part of Ruka and Mayuri and Daru and all of their lives as well. So why should Ocarine be the one that is the only one impacting the future? Why aren't they involved as well, since they knew her too, right? And clearly Daru's had an influence on the future. He helped to make the time machine. So I did like her bringing this up. I thought that was really good to bring up. But her saying, like, why are you putting this all on his shoulders to do everything? And even if you tell him to try one more time, he's just going to get hurt again. It's just interesting that it feels like a butterfly effect. Like, this version of Mayuri was not willing to push him and tell him not to give up, but the one in episode 23 was. And I think it's going to have to do with whatever happens in Steins Gate Zero. I think that's going to influence how this goes down. But yeah, thinking one person alone can change the future, that isn't just possible. Well, that's interesting you say that, Mayuri, because on the one hand, Mayuri is the one that impacts him later on to make the decision to go back by telling him not to give up. And then Amane was involved in getting him to even be part of this in the first place. And then future him gives the video and everything. But in episode 24, he is kind of the one that changes the past, because he's the one that stabs himself and does all that. So, interesting. So yeah, and then he's just sitting there just talking about Kurisu. And I can't believe I get my Mayuri and Ocarine hug this way. In the movie, we get it from Ocarine giving her the hug out in the park, and here we have her giving him the hug. Okay. I mean, I'm glad that they get to be together and that he finally gets a hug, but this feels like, again, she's like, you don't have to struggle anymore. This very much feels like, in the movie, he was telling Kurisu, he's like, just go on and live your life. Don't worry about me and just forget about me and just don't try to change things. You'll be a broken person. Just live your life. So this feels like it trying to play with the idea of, well, what if Kurisu in the movie had just said, fine, we'll forget about Ocarine. And he was like, fine, we'll forget about Kurisu. What if this is trying to enact what he was telling her to do in the movie? And then Amane just went back. And my thing is, Amane just being like, welp, I guess I'm going to go back to World War III. It's kind of weird. But I guess that's what happened. I guess that's what happened. Or she stuck around. or she stuck around and waited. But like the idea that Amane was just gonna be like, well, I guess I'll go back to my hellscape. Thanks for trying. That part's kind of weird. That part's kind of weird to me. I don't see her like not leaving without a fight, but maybe she does. That feels kind of plot holy to me, but I don't know. Maybe we'll find out in Zero more of if she went back or not, if she's stuck around there. I do like the Roby, the Akihabara sign there beside it, but I'm like, okay, so Amane is just like, well, I guess you're a lost cause. Guess I won't change the future, and leaves. ? And then he just goes back and is like, I just can't do it. You know what? I kind of thought that the ending of episode 23 where he decided like, I'm going to power through, it really gets highlighted now that you see this episode, because when you see him just give up and it's like, which he doesn't actually give up, because we know future him has been thinking night and day about how to fix things and how to bring her back. So this isn't necessarily him forgetting and not thinking about her, unless I'm wrong and this is something different, which now I want to watch Steins Gate Zero episode 1. I'll probably go ahead and watch it this weekend because I don't think I can wait. But I'm so curious, because it really makes the end of episode 23 really triumphant, because you're like, yeah, he's gonna, we don't know how he's gonna do it, but he's gonna try to go back and change things one more time, and he's got a plan, and we want to see it all go down. Here it's like, no, I'm just gonna give up, because it's really traumatic, and you're like, understandable, but also, sir. I hate seeing him like this. It's really depressing. It's really sad. And so we see him on the couch, right? We see him on the couch, and he's thrown off the mad scientist lab. He's shucked Hyo and Kyoma off of him. And it just feels like you had in episode 23 him accepting that she was gone and accepting that the world was going to go on without her, and he was like keeping up the mad scientist bit while also like being with Mayuri and Daru and just playing up like how things were before meeting her. But he also had realized that you can't really do that, and he's like I can't really do that because all I'm going to do is think about her, and it was kind of driving him crazy. So when Amane shows up and gives him the chance to go save her, he's like, well, sure, yes, I really want her back, so fine. But it does feel kind of like, I feel bad for Kurisu, especially now that I've watched the movie, and Kurisu's like, I went back and saved you. I didn't give up. And I don't think he's gave up necessarily, but I think he's just resigned himself to the fact that he doesn't see a way. But he's kind of resigned himself that he can't save her. And he doesn't want to go through the pain of watching her die again, which you can't blame him. But I thought for a hot second, I wondered here, because he's on the couch, right? And we focus then on the hourglass, which has the sand in it, but the sand's run out. The microwave with the phone next to it. Again, the phone microwave. We don't have the time machine, so we don't have any of that. That doesn't exist anymore. And his phone doesn't have the message from future Ocarine, because this is the Ocarine that's going to become future Ocarine, in my mind. And then we see the lab coat. We see this weird distorted reality, which I was like, what in the Twin Peaks is going on? But we got this like distorted like sound of all their voices. And it was reminding me of like, this part here was reminding me of like these waves. And like, I'm like, is this the our world line? Like trying to sneak in because you know you have the two world lines? Because in this, okay, no. No, because you all are sitting there watching me flounder so hard through this. And you're like, girl, you in danger, girl. You ain't even made it into Zero. Because we're not at Steins Gate. In this episode, we haven't made it to Steins Gate yet. So if we haven't made it to Steins Gate yet, this could be the our world line, but there's no reason for us to be near the our world line, because that one's near the Steins Gate's world line. We've not converged yet. Okay. We're not there yet. But this part is kind of weird, right? And then we see the coat on the ground. Now, at first, I thought when we cut back to the couch and he's not there anymore, like it's just empty. Granted, it's so freaking dark in this scene, you can't hardly tell, but it's empty. For a second, I was like, did he cross into another world line? Did he do what he did in the movie and cross into another world line from his trauma? But I think what it actually is it's supposed to be emblematic of he's leaving Hyo and Kiyoma behind. That Ocarine is dead. We're not going to do any more experiments. We're not going to do any time travel. He's like, I'm just going to be a college student. I'm going to move on with my life. I'm going to forget about Kurisu, and I'm not going to worry about her anymore. I'm going to go on and live my life as a college student. And we cut to November 28th, right? That's where we cut to? Correct? Okay, we don't actually cut to November 28th yet. We cut to Mayuri being out in the park, and it does not seem like November, but it does seem like it's about to be fall because the cicadas have all left. It's not summer anymore. Maybe it is November now, because they said it's been a while since they've been to the park. Okay, after Okarine's been pretty busy since summer vacation ended after all. And he's like, yeah, I went to my first mixer recently. The idea of Ocarine going to a mixer where you potentially meet people to date is bizarre. I'm sorry, that's weird. That's weird. I know that, if your lover died, you should move on, but that's still weird. I will say he's not in the same outfit anymore. He's changed clothes. And now he's got like this, he's wearing, the khakis have gone away. He's like gone into his Luke Skywalker, like Return of the Jedi, like outfit. He's not wearing the khakis. He's got like black jeans, a black blazer, but he's in mourning. He's in mourning clothes from losing Kurisu. He's in eternal mourning in this black getup. But why is it that trauma makes anime characters hotter? Why is that the case? Why is that happening? Like, even his hair's a little bit different. I'm like, why have you become hotter since your trauma, sir? This isn't fair. And he's not doing like the Elsai Kongru. He's actually talking to people on the phone. That's weird. Actually legit talking to people on the phone is bizarre to me. To see him do it is bizarre, because usually he just texts people that are lab members. But to actually call them, well, he called Mayuri and Daru back in the other episode. Mayuri's like, what's going on? He's like, oh, tomorrow, that's pretty sudden. And Mayuri, now, I am glad Mayuri is happy that he's having an adjusted experience. I'm glad Mayuri is happy this is going on. I'm glad she seems supportive of him. He's like, I'll be there to even the numbers out. Like, he legit looks healthy there. He looks healthy and happy. Which, F Kurisu's drag, but... I mean... I like seeing happy Ocarine as opposed to traumatized Ocarine, for sure, but... It's interesting. It's bizarre to see him this way. Yeah, and to see him just do like, he also is doing kind of like him being a normal, well-adjusted person. He's like, I could just even the numbers out. Sure, I'll go. Like, seeing him be a well-adjusted social person is kind of bizarre. Like, I don't know if I like seeing him as a normal person. And I know that's kind of like me wanting to like traumatize him, but he's like, I didn't expect college life to be this busy. But we find out later, at the end of this episode, that this is all an act, right? He is actually hyper concerned about Kurisu and still traumatized. He's just putting on an act for Mayuri so she'll feel better. As his friend, as we see the little wavy sun. It's like the sun in Mario 3, Super Mario Brothers 3, where it like comes in and tries to kill you. That's this sun. So yeah. And so we cut back to scenes of the city. He's like, Mayuri. Well, Mayuri's talking in this voiceover. She's like, I'm happy to see Ocarine again after so long. So that was the other thing. She hasn't seen Ocarine in a while. I got a little mad at that in the moment because I'm like, didn't we just go through all this trouble to keep Mayuri safe? And then you disappear for 3 months? Sir, what is going on? What is happening? I'm sorry, what? Okay, so we see the May Queen. We see where Ruka is. We don't see Ruka, but we see their place. We see all these magazines and stuff pointing around. Everything looks pretty normal. Okay. And then we see people walking around on the streets. Everything seems fine. I got a little worried when Mayuri was in the shadows. I don't know why he went to Germany. I'm kidding, the German flag on that bag. She's like, why don't you stop by the lab? You haven't visited in a while, and so it's been really quiet. I'm like, I get it. I get that he wants to not, I get that he's basically doing the same mentality that he was doing in the movie to Kurisu. He's like, well, you're safe. I saved your life. So I'm going to get out of here so you can just live on without me. And I can understand why he wouldn't want to go to the lab because it would be so tempting. it would be so tempting. It would not only be tempting to want to try to create the technology to go save Kurisu because she died in your arms and that's horrific, but also it would trigger all these memories of her, which you'd want to get away from. So I get why Ocarina's like, I want to move on in my life in college. I'm trying to move on. I know I can't save her, so this is the best I can do. This is self-preservation. Like, I get it, but at the same time, you went through all this trouble to save her, and you rarely visit. And he goes, oh, well, sure, all right. Like, he's playing a really good game. If he's hiding the fact that he's not changed, he's doing really good doing it. Also, I like the frame of the light shines down on the two of them and there's shadows on the either side. That part's really good. And she's like, I'll see you later. And then he gives her the gift. That was nice that he was carrying it for her. That's really sweet. But yeah. And then she just waves. I keep waiting for something bad to happen to her. I'm just conditioned by this series for that. And that's when he says this. Mayuri is safely here with us. Not this town. Not myself. Nothing at all has changed. Yeah, when he said not myself has changed, I'm like, oh, so you're still Ocarine. You're just trying to keep it all together and keep things from changing. So you're like, if I remove myself from the equation, nothing will change. Who is this street urchin? It's like in the street. Who's all Oliver Twist in the street here? Because it shows them like, they have like this long scraggly hair. They look like Cousin It's brother. Who be this? Who is this? What is happening? What is this? What is this human Furby? What is going on? I don't understand. I like this lyric of I'm unable to escape the unforgiving grasp of the 12. Like the clock's going to strike midnight and I can't help it. Also, the hourglass comes back together to form Mayuri. I mean, if you thought Mayuri was gone, you are incorrect. So yeah, so we get the hourglass back. I want to go to this end credit scene. My mind is just whirling because I cannot think of what else we're going to do. It says all is going to be rewritten. Which, okay. I want to see this end credit scene again. So she pops up on the screen. It's like, there's all these blue lights that says Amadeus system. Nice to meet you. I'm Makase Kurisu. I hope we can get along. And it says 2010, November 28th. But I thought she died. I thought she just died in his arms tonight. I thought we just had that in this episode. Yeah, what's with the red blinking? What's with that? Why is he freaking out? I thought, what, but what is happening? Yeah. It seems fate has decided to converge once again, Hyo and Kyoma. Did she say that? What is happening? I have to fight either way in the end. I don't know if that was just like, if this is just a little tag on that they did to show that something's going to happen in Zero to warrant, but how does she come back? How does that even happen? What? Okay, this episode was called, it was called Divide by Zero, the missing link. Now, we're going to get into this. I'm not a math person. If you divide by zero, okay, we're going to go to this wiki article. All right, we're getting in this wiki article here. In mathematics, division by zero is division where the divisor, the denominator, is zero, a problematic special case. Using fraction notation, the general example can be written as a over zero, in which a is the dividend or the numerator. The usual definition of the quotient in elementary arithmetic is the number which yields the dividend when multiplied by the divisor. That is, C equals A over B, which is equivalent to C times B equals A. God, I haven't done this math since high school, and I'm having flashbacks. There are helicopter blades spinning in the background. By this definition, the quotient Q equals A over zero is nonsensical, as the product of Q, I know everything multiplied by zero is always zero, right? Is by zero, rather than by some number other than A. Following the ordinary rules of elementary algebra, while allowing division by zero can create a mathematical fallacy, a subtle mistake leading to absurd results. Well, if the subtle mistake is that we didn't go back and save Kurisu the way that we were supposed to save Kurisu, then is Steins Gate 0. Steins Gate 0! Steins Gate 0! It's gonna lead to absurd results! Oh no! To prevent this, the arithmetic of real numbers and more general numerical structures called for field leaves by division of 0 as undefined, and situations where division by 0 might occur must be treated with care. That's not going to happen in this series. Since any number multiplied by 0 is 0, the expression 0, 0 is also undefined. Oh, I didn't do calculus, so that's not going to fare well. Calculus studies the behavior of functions in the limit. There is no limit. As their input tends to some value. When a real function can be expressed as a fraction whose denominator tends to 0, the output of the function becomes arbitrarily large and is said to tend to infinity, a typical mathematical singularity. For example, the reciprocal functions, that's getting to a lot of things, tends to 0, infinity as x tends to 0, when both in numerical, I want to know inverse of multiplication and fallacies. Okay. So division by 0 was obfuscated because we wrote blah, blah, blah. So basically, this is getting into this is getting into higher mathematics, crazy things. Is there anything about time travel? Oh man, historical accidents. On the 21st of September 1997, a division by 0 error in the remote database manager aboard the USS Yorktown brought down all the machines on the network, causing the ship's propulsion system to fail. That sounds terrifying. Okay, so in standard arithmetic, the operation by division by 0 is undefined. It does not equal infinity or any other number. It is in the definition of division. It's the inverse or opposite of multiplication. Suddenly, something as simple as dividing numbers turns into a paradox. Oh my God, this is a strange and intriguing case of 0 divided by 0, a concept puzzling mathematicians and students alike for centuries. Oh my God. Okay, so cool. So, there's a lot of things going on here, but basically you can't divide by 0. Like if I got out my calculator and I try to do 6 divided by 0, it says not a number. You can't do it. So this divided by 0, not a number. It won't let you do it. If you try to do 2 divided by 0, not a number. It won't let you divide by 0. Okay. So essentially, I'm sorry that took so long, but I was kind of having a freak out moment with math. But basically this series saying the missing link. Oh, the title, it all makes sense. Okay, so we got the title here. Open the missing link, divide by 0. You can't divide by 0. It will give you absurd results. And in Steins Gate 0 is going to be us trying to fix the problem without fixing the problem. So we're trying to fix the problem in ways that are not going to work. So my theory is Steins Gate 0 is going to be, they're going to try every other scenario to try to avoid what they end up doing at the end of episode 23, and it's not going to work. Because it says open the missing link. The missing link is literally, open the missing link is opening the phone to the video that Ocarine creates in the future to send back to save Kurisu and set the timeline aright. So, this is gonna be my face for the next week. As we wait for Steins Gate episodes 1 of 0. Steins Gate 0, episode 1. Oh my God. What have I signed up for? Okay, well, I'm sorry. I've honestly spent 40 something minutes freaking out for no reason, and I'm sure that this was, I hope you enjoyed me just flailing and just spiraling. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope this was fun for you. But yeah, I have lots of theories, I have lots of thoughts, but we're going to have to wait till next week. So thank you for dealing with me rambling for a hot second, and now my mind is a whir. I'm going to go ahead and watch Steins Gate 0 very soon, before I get to the comments probably, but that's okay. I'll still answer your comments, so please send a like down to this video. Leave me a comment of your thoughts of this special episode, what you thought about it. Please spoiler tag if you can. If you want to see me react to Steins Gate 0, it's going to be every Saturday starting next week. I hope you all will tune in, but we're going to have a lot of fun, I feel. And Romania is going to be racking her brain quite a bit, so anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'm back real soon with Steins Gate Zero starting next week. And I'll see you then. Bye!